We're here outside of Jacksonville, Florida at a friend of ours' house, staying for a couple days before we head back to Clearwater. And as we were helping them yesterday in the garden, we found out that they have clay, which isn't a big deal to most people, but I love to work with clay, and it's clay in the soil. And it just so happened I was on Pinterest and found a way to process the clay, and we're gonna attempt it. Well, we're gonna see what happens at least. So I've got this clay here in a bucket. I'm gonna show you here, and just gonna try the process and see what happens. So here's our bucket of clay and sand and just regular dirt. I've got the hose hooked up here. So I'm gonna hose down. They say to wet it and break it up as much as possible. I'm not sure that's gonna be completely necessary here because this stuff is pretty, I mean, it's real clay. This is pretty neat. I've never seen it before. So when we were working with it yesterday, Lily made some little pieces, but I figured we might as well process it while we're here and see what happens. Nicholas thinks we should use the jet setting, but I don't really feel like being covered in clay and mud. So we're just gonna fill the bucket with water as the instructions said.
Yeah.
So I've got my clay soaking in the water here, and I'm gonna start breaking it up. I found out early on I don't really like a whole bunch of clay stuck under my nails, so I got some gloves. Maybe that's cheating, who knows. I don't know if you can see behind me. Maybe move this a little bit. Here's some cute little guineas. I can't move it. There's cute little guineas back here, so I'm gonna take the camera, turn around, and see if we can't film a little bit, because I have friends while I'm doing my clay. They're funny little creatures. But yeah, water's helped break it up a little bit. And so what I read was to break up all the pieces, and the clay would float to the top and the rocks and stuff to the bottom. This doesn't appear that clay floats, but there's a lot in here, so yeah, you can see it's already like actual clay. That's pretty cool. So this is gonna be long and boring, so I'm not gonna record all of it. Do you want to do this? Or not. Can you stop the recording, please? So Lily and I sat here and went through, I'm stepping in it, went through the clay and kind of squeezed all little pieces out. We got a nice slurry going on now. It's very liquidy. I have one more pair of gloves. I'm gonna go through it one more time. And I looked online and they used an old sheet to strain it through. I happen to have a pillowcase, so I'm just gonna dump the water with the clay when I'm done processing it and putting all the sticks and whatever out. I'm gonna put it all in the pillowcase and just hang it up and let it drip dry. And supposedly then we'll have clay that we can work with, which is pretty cool. I think it's a lot cleaner than I expected, so I think it's gonna work out real well. Yuck and yay at the same time.
What yuck?
It just feels weird. It feels like we did a pretty good job.
Yes, I did amazing. How long does it have to sit in the pillowcase?
I don't know.
5 minutes?
No.
What?
Yeah, 24 hours I would guess.
Jerk face move.
Water doesn't seep out of clay quickly.
It should.
Yeah.
I just had a poo. Recording in progress.
Oh, Nicholas had to poo. I imagine it looks something like this.
No, wasn't as drippy. More solid.
Okay, Nick. Thank you for that description.
You're welcome. You gotta include that in the YouTube video. Stupid rain, not gonna drain out for 24 hours. Don't break my stick.
Don't be sticking your stick in the clay.
I do, but I won't.
We were lucky that this clay came out from where they're putting in a pool, because there's not quite as much grass and debris, sand, I guess, as I would have thought. So this is going to make some pretty nice clay, I'm pretty sure. So we were hearing that in this area, the Indians would use this clay to make pots and stuff. And what they would do is they would sit it near the fire for it to dry out. So that they
cure.
were kind of doing the same process that, well, with the exception of the gloves in the bucket, they're doing the same process that the Indians would have done to make their own stuff in this area. I don't know how many years ago. Okay, looks like that's about it. We're gonna pour it into the pillowcase here and hang it up to dry. Okay, so we have our slurry of stuff here. I've gone through with a fine-tooth comb and you can see it. We're gonna dump it into the pillowcase. Well, we were attempting to. Some of it got on the floor there. And then I'm going to scoop out the stuff at the bottom. Of course, this is where we want the good stuff. Open that up a little bit. No, it's not that bad. It looked like it was a whole lot stuck to the bottom. It's like a cake batter consistency. Stuck at the bottom of the drain. That would be why this little bucket wouldn't drain. Theory, it kind of weighs a ton. In theory, you hang this up and the water drains through and the clay stays, and then you have clean clay. So we're gonna hang it up and see what happens. You see, it's already starting to drip water out. It appears that it's gonna do the job. I do see some clay coming out, or it might have been stuff I spilled on it, but we'll see. Okay, so it's been about a week since the clay has been drying. It's quite heavy now, and I realized pouring it in, I got quite a bit of this stuff, clay, stuck to this sacrificial pillowcase. So I decided, instead of trying to struggle with every bit, I'm going to get these scissors and just cut the top of it off. Got a plastic bag to put the clean stuff in. So I felt down here, and it's squishy but not liquidy, because it was liquidy for quite some time. I'm just gonna cut this off. And I guess in theory you could soak this and get every last bit if you wanted, but since we're just doing this for fun, don't bother. There's that. Oh, it's very powdery. So I read that another method, you dry it out and you grind it up. So you could do that as well. Like, some of this is like already hard, but a little bit of water would fix that. So I'm just gonna put this back. Wow. It's quite messy. Having it in the bucket is going to help me. I'm 100% sure on keeping the mess down. So we've got these harder pieces, which I think I'm going to keep and put in a different bag maybe. And then there's this softer stuff. You can really see, oh my god, that's so tight. You can see the actual clay. We'll just put those in a different bag with a little bit of water, and I'm sure they will just soften up, no problem. Now I do see I missed some spots here with breaking down the little pieces, so you got some of the gray clay in here still, but that's okay. That's not sticks, and even if it is sticks, in reality, you can just, especially at this stage. That's awesome. Okay. Let go, pillowcase. It's no longer yours. Okay, so now the tag got stuck in it, so. Well, that may just have to come out later, because it is pretty hard in that section. But good news is this is all usable. This is still moldable. I mean, this stuff is usable too. I just have to now basically rehydrate it. But look, it turned out pretty clean. There's some little pieces here and there. This middle part's kind of mushy, so I don't know that I'm gonna add any water. I think I'm just gonna put it in a plastic bag and let it rehydrate itself. But now I can. All right. I wondered if this bag was gonna be big enough. I'm gonna put the hard side down just because, you know, water and all. Maybe it'll drain. Don't fly away. This bag here I brought out to put, you know, all the debris and supplies and whatnot in. So most of the clay I get is formed into a block. So I don't have any problem pushing this down in here and filling the whole bag. I think it'll come out no problem. That's amazing. That's amazing. I can't believe we made this. There's the hard pieces. I'm gonna get a whole different bag for that. Wow. Cool. Okay, let's put it all together. Got a little bit of clay on the outside. I'm gonna squeeze all the air out of this if possible. Well, as much as possible, I guess. And then Ziploc it. And I'm gonna go get another bag to put this. I mean, it's not really a ton of stuff, which is awesome. And I guess I could have not destroyed the pillowcase and used it again, but since we're doing this one time, I'm not gonna worry too much. Who knows? They start clay processing plant up in Jacksonville. That's the dry stuff. So I'm gonna go get like a quart-size bag. Put the rest of this in and see if we can't rehydrate a bit. So I have a quart-size bag here. I'm just gonna fill up big chunks. And I was trying to make sure there was no debris, and it doesn't look like it, so I think I'm just gonna. There's some rocks and stuff, so I won't put all that back in. There you go. So now we got ourselves a little bag, which I can pound and powder if I really need to, but I think I'm just gonna put some water in there, let it sit for a couple days, see what it does. So there you go. Homemade clay, straight out of the ground. That's kind of amazing. It's already rehydrated some of this, so that's amazing. I'm gonna let it sit for a couple days and then we'll make some stuff. Amazing.